It is calling it at 6:30. Today is May 22nd, 2024. This is the Board of Directors regular meeting for Trophy Club Municipal Utility District Number 1. We do have a quorum. We do have Vice President Brewster joining us from a golf course unknown in Colorado. So welcome. And we do have a quorum with other directors. Okay. We're going to citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the board on any matter, whether or not it is posted on the agenda. The board is not permitted to take action on or discuss any comments made to the board at this time concerning an item not listed on the agenda. The board will hear comments on specific agenda items prior to the board addressing those items. You may speak up to 4 minutes or the time limit determined by the president or presiding officer. To speak during this item, you must complete the speaker's form that includes the topics of your statements. Citizens' comments should be limited to matters over which the board has authority. Lori, do you have any?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to reports and updates. 1, staff reports. A, capital improvement projects. B, operations reports. C, finance reports. Alan?
Good evening, directors. Tonight, updates include the pump station improvement project. The installation of the new header piping is about 50% complete. And this last week, we did the last remaining major system shutdown. Fortunately, staff was able to go out and identify a few additional valves, at least one specific valve. And so the 2 cul-de-sacs that we had anticipated being out of water were not out of water at all. So there was a minor interruption while staff worked on repairs to another valve in the system. But other than that, the fire department were the unlucky ones without water at the time. But now, with the new valve that was installed this week, we should have no issues keeping people in water if we have to shut down the pump station for any reason moving forward. So very good call by staff to go ahead and have that installed. And it went without any issues, so we're very fortunate for that. The electrical work is currently underway, and replacement of the remaining header piping is scheduled to occur by the end of May. We think that the majority of everything should be accomplished by the end of next week, or at least we're hopeful for that. So we're still waiting on delivery dates for those VFDs, but we're hoping that everything will be done and installed and all fully operational by the end of August, or at least that's the plan. The FY 2024 waterline project, we had a pre-construction meeting on that, and the contractor sent out a schedule this last week. They were supposed to start working this week, but next week looks like they're going to get out and start doing potholing and setting up temporary lines. They're going to start over on the Sonora Drive area, and then they'll end up working over to Inverness and then Fresh Meadow? Forest Hill, sorry.
Alan, on Inverness, is it the Inverness that's on the golf course side of Indian Creek or on the 114 side?
On the north side, the golf course side, yes.
Thank you.
It goes from Indian Creek around to Forest Hill.
Right.
And Forest Hill from Indian Creek to Fresh Meadow.
Okay.
Okay. Also, we had a pre-construction meeting for our wastewater treatment plant CIP improvement project. The contractor has submittals planned on that and submitted to our engineer and consultant. They're planning on getting everything ordered, delivered on site, and doing a quick turnaround on this project. They only plan on being here for about a month and a half. So we expect them to be in town probably next week and start working on that if they're able to get their materials delivered. The FY 2024 wastewater improvement project's moving along. It has been delayed, but they're still about 85% complete. And as of today, they only have 3 remaining point repairs. So hopefully in the next week or two, if it doesn't rain, then they'll be able to get those finished and completed. The prep work to the manhole repairs has been completed. Contractors waiting for delivery of materials so they can get in and start rehabbing and reworking those manholes. We expect that to be done within the next few weeks as well. We still haven't received any information on that South Lake emergency connection, but as soon as we do, we'll evaluate it with our consulting engineer and follow up with you all on that. I don't have anything else for capital projects. Do you all have any other questions related to those or financials? Yes, if you would like, I'll introduce you all and welcome our new finance manager, Regina Van Dyke. We're fortunate to have Regina come in on such quick notice. We were fortunate with our applicant pool that she was one of the many. We had over 60 applicants for this position. So Regina comes to us with over 23 years' experience in governmental accounting, Abilene, TxDOT, worked for, and on the private side, working for multiple freshwater districts. And most recently, over 4 years at Elm Ridge Water Control Improvement District, correct?
Correct.
So we welcome her tonight. She's already sat in the seat, and she's already taken ownership, and she's taken care of putting everything together for us, and got the month closed out today. So she's doing well already, and I look forward to working through the new budget cycle with her and working with you all.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
What about the true-up with the fire budget?
So the true-up, there's been communication back and forth with them on that. The last I saw, they were still working on sending me a final version. The last email was they were trying to determine exactly what the final dollar amount was going to be, and I still have yet to receive a final email on that.
So they're still doing that computer-generated program that tells you the numbers and stuff? Like push a button?
I know that before, the first correspondence did not reduce the 16th firefighter, and so I'd asked them to go back to their notes and have a conversation with interim town manager at the time to talk about that and the reduction. I did tell them to make sure that the board was aware that the mid-year adjustments to salaries was understood and to be included. And what they're planning on doing is deducting the money that was refunded back to them for the deployment to the oh, it just escapes my mind. They were
Tampa Canyon.
yeah,
Not
it was
that
yes,
area.
it was West Texas.
Yeah.
So it'll include that as well.
Pem something. I can't remember what it's called.
But I did get
anyway,
acknowledgement that they're still
if they
planning on working
could,
through
when
that.
they submit those numbers, I'd like to see it broken out, like, okay, what was the truck reimbursement, what was the personnel
Yep.
reimbursement, so it's just not one group, lump sum number.
I can email that to you. I have that already.
Yeah, and Regina can play with it after that. When are we expected to have the preliminary next budget?
So we got in there and started working on that this week. We haven't downloaded any kind of tax information, but we're hoping to start working on that over the next few weeks.
Okay, so next meeting, we can talk about it?
We're going to talk about scheduling that. We can have a rough preliminary
Okay.
draft for y'all to look at.
Okay.
We've got some new software that was put into place years ago that we used for creating our budget book. And what I would like to do is utilize that software with you all, because you can get on there and look at everything before we even have the meeting. And so I'm thinking about trying to go ahead and utilize this new platform and get away from the old platform.
Yeah, just talk to Bill about that.
But I just want to make sure y'all were aware of that. See, if you saw an email coming out, you're like, what am I doing here, right? But we can also print that out as static, but I want to try to utilize this new software and send y'all a link so y'all can get in there and look around and review that. So yes, we will be talking about a budget meeting later on.
Perfect. Anybody have any other questions? I see none. Again, welcome, Regina. Okay, I'm going to be moving along because, Alan has a place to go, so I apologize if I'm zooming through this stuff. Okay, consent agenda. All matters listed as consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Directors and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Number 2 is consider and act to approve the consent agenda, April 16th, 2024 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for that?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
They're amended. There was an error on page 19, page 20 of the packet. On number 5, there's motion carried unanimously is an error. The first motion carried unanimously. Doug caught that. So they have been amended, and that is removed.
Okay, so you approve as amended?
I move to approve the minutes. I move to approve the consent agenda with the minutes as amended.
I have a motion by Director Rose. Do I have a second?
Second.
You don't mind if I do Doug since he found the error? Way to go, Dan. Good catch. Okay. Okay, I have a second by Secretary Treasurer Harper. Okay, all in favor? Show of hands. Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, moving on, regular session. We're in item number 3, consider an act regarding May 4th, 2024 general elections and matters related thereto. A, issue certificates of office to unopposed candidates. The unopposed candidates were Director Rose and myself. It was a hard-fought election, but we were unopposed. So we were both
100% of the
sworn in and issued certificates that looked like this prior to the meeting, so there'll be no further action. Congratulations again,
Thank
Director
you.
Rose.
Congratulations.
Okay, number 4, consider an act to elect officers of the Board of Directors. Every year, we go through this motion, and last year, we did one motion to keep everybody the same. I'd rather just, myself, make nominees for the President, Vice President, and Secretary Treasurer, unless someone doesn't have, if someone wants to nominate someone else, we can make a motion to keep it the same, but Mr. Brewster, sorry, I didn't see you. Go ahead.
Let me kick it off, Mr. Chairman, by nominating Director Carr for the position of President of the Board.
Okay, we have a nomination for myself as President. Do we have any other nomination?
2 years ago, we had the elections. I stepped aside to let the new people get some experience on the board. I wouldn't want anyone to think that I've gone on permanent vacation. So I will go ahead and, I'm not going to nominate myself, but I will make a statement of willingness to serve.
Okay, we have a nomination by Director Rose, and that's all right, Pam? A person can nominate themselves?
Sure.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, so we have 2 nominations. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, we'll vote on myself first, since I was the first nomination. All in favor of Kevin Carr to continue as president, show of hands. Okay, I have Mr. Harper, myself, Director Thomas, and Vice President Brewster. 4, all opposed, or all for Mr. Rose, excuse me.
I have to support myself, so
Okay,
just in
no
case
problem.
anybody else wanted to throw a
Understand.
vote that
Okay,
way.
we
I
have
to-
one vote for
Yeah.
Mr. Rose, so I thank you very much for your support. I'll continue as president. Okay, next position is vice president. Do I have any nominations for vice president? I will, go ahead.
Once again, I don't want to be tagged as being on permanent vacation, so I'll throw my name in the hat again.
You're a vital part of this board, so, and I'll nominate current vice president, Mr. Brewster, to continue on. Okay, anybody else? Any nomination? Okay, we'll vote on Mr. Rose first, since he was the first nomination. All in favor of Director Rose to become vice president, show of hands. Okay, I have Mr. Rose supporting himself. All in favor of current vice president, Mr. Brewster, to continue, show of hands. Okay, I have Secretary Treasurer Harper, myself, Director Thomas, and Vice President Brewster. Congratulations, Mr. Brewster. You will continue
Thank you.
for the next year. Okay, we're down to Secretary Treasurer. I'll open the table for nominations for Secretary Treasurer. I'll just go ahead and nominate Secretary Treasurer Harper.
It's a
know,
hard task. I've been there. I know
Okay.
exactly what you're doing.
We have a
But this is
nomination.
your chance to
Okay.
Get out.
Director Rose nominates himself to be Secretary Treasurer. Okay,
volunteers.
Anybody else? Okay, since Director Harper was first to be nominated, I'll call for the vote on all in favor of Secretary Treasurer Harper continuing as Secretary Treasurer for the next year. Show of hands.
Oh, good.
Okay, I have Vice President Brewster, Secretary Treasurer Harper, myself, and Director Thomas. All in favor of Director Rose. Director Rose.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone on another year in the positions. Okay, so we have myself as president. Vice President, current Vice President, Mr. Brewster, will continue And congratulations, Mr. Harper, on continuing on as Secretary Treasurer.
My condolences.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Mr. Rose is not an invisible person on this board. He provides good input, so.
Tough to do.
Okay, we're going to move on to 5, consider an act regarding facility use agreements for the annex building to the Town of Trophy Club. Guess that would be you, Alan?
Correct. Directors, you know and are all aware that the town requested use of the annex building. We were tasked with going back to them and requesting a said agreement. The document that is currently in the packet does not reflect the most recent changes. Those were sent to you yesterday after Council Liston had a chance to review and add comments to those. I'm comfortable with the document as it sits, but we require you all to take a look at that and provide any input that you may have. And so we're requesting your feedback on this so we can get it back to the town. I do know that they have a meeting on Monday, and they're wanting to get this approved on their side as well. So any comments made tonight will need to be updated, and I can get that sent to them as soon as possible so they can get that on their agenda for their Monday meeting.
But we can approve it tonight, can't we?
Yes.
Okay.
Director Thomas, Director Thomas brought to the attention, we need to identify and protect the parking for our staff and for any visitors. I know we get people, 100, 200 a day coming through you? But not a lot, obviously, but we still need to protect their parking because from what I understand, they're going to have it open at 7 o'clock, is that right?
I think that's what they said they were going to start working on.
And that's
that.
before our people come, so the last thing I want to happen is that our people have to park down by the treatment plant or something. They should be able to park against the fence or down at least to the conference room doors and then let them have all that area down there. And is that construction going to be gone by that time?
We're trying to get all of that cleaned up now so there's no issue with
And then-
parking.
Yeah, and then we need to make sure that the town either has people direct the traffic or there's a constant flow up this road because, again, our staff people don't need to be sitting there for 10 minutes trying to get up the street.
Sure, understood. One thing I mentioned as well is that, our communications are good with the town and town staff.
Yeah.
And so they're very understanding that we expect them to use everything from basically the fire hydrant going that way. Also, I believe they're limited to 30 or 60 kids. And so the volume in and out should be sporadic. And I don't foresee it being any worse than during an election time. in the mornings.
I'm just concerned about our staff
Understood.
having parking and stuff. And I know every bit confident that you'll handle it with Brandon. Right now, we're at, optimal communication, so there should be no bugs in it. But as far as, letting Pam know that, probably wouldn't hurt to put something, parking as agreed or, worked out by you or something like that. Okay?
Yeah, we can
I don't know
do
if I
that.
stepped
That
on
was
you,
my
Jess.
point.
Okay. That's a good point, too.
Alan sent me a map that I think will work, which is,
And
like you said, the fire hydrant, the other, in front of the annex building and in the back, they use that, and then the front of this building and across the street, we use that, and that should be, pretty sufficient.
Yeah. Doug, you have anything? No? Vice President Brewster, do you have any?
No, sounds good.
You have anything else, Jim? No. Bill?
of course,
Okay.
excuse me, when I read the agreement, and we had the meetings, the presentations, and the big talk was recreational. Was always talking about recreational. But when I got to thinking about the agreement, my question is why limit to recreational? If you go to the first whereas, it says to host summer camp and community recreational programs. Why not just say community programs? Why tie it to just recreational? It's a limitation that I honestly think we don't need in the agreement. The same thing is down in 1.4. So giving my option, I would make that either community / recreational programs or just scratch out recreational and just allow them to use the facility for, I won't say exactly, whatever they want to use it for, but there are a lot of things that they could use that building for that are not recreational, that would be perfectly permissible. And the way the current agreement's written, they have to bring it back to us if they want to do something else. And that is going to be time-consuming, because as I read it, we agreed to the document, and so we hold the power for what else goes on in that building, which would mean it would have to come back to the board to allow them to use it for a community gardening discussion or something.
From what I understood, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alan and Pam, is that they're using it for that summer camp. And then another contract will be like the women's group that came in.
The intent is to originate this for the use for the recreational summer camp. However, they are going to be trying to plug in the women's or the community groups' functions or activities into that as well. So I think that kind of goes into,
Yeah, but that's going to be a new contract, I would think, because the town, someone has to control that.
and they're going to. So this document will include that as well.
Yeah,
But
so that's
they'll
why,
revise it for the,
No, it won't be revised, and that would fall under recreational.
Yeah.
But what I think Mr. Rose is trying to say is if you want to have some sort of other use for that building, or the town needs it for some other use other than a recreational use, it doesn't prohibit them and have to bring it back to the
okay,
board.
so they're going to be the controllers of the building on this
Correct.
contract.
That's correct.
Okay, and how long's the period of time?
Currently, this one goes to December of 25, December 31 of 2025.
Okay.
Between now and then, once you all approve this, the intent is for them to go out for an RFP for architectural proposals, and then they're going to determine and work through that architect to figure out potential possible uses for the board to consider.
At their expense.
yeah. Let me give you an example how it's one of the things I considered. I'm not sure this is a real good example, but let's take the TC VA, the volunteer fire folks. Let's say they want to have a meeting. Well, they ordinarily meet down in the training room in the fire department, but they want to have a meeting, and the fire department's got the training room tied up, and the town has got all of their rooms tied up. We've got facilities here that would probably work exceptionally for them to have their meeting, but the way this agreement is written, they couldn't, because it's not a recreational program. And so that's why I think, in my perspective, I would strike
Yeah,
recreation from
yeah,
this.
To
Yeah.
shorten it, I mean, I don't want to get into deep, I have no problem as long as they take the burden of operating it and managing, because I don't want Alan or our staff in here and going, okay, so-and-so came to us and wants to use the building. We're giving it to the town, and they can use it for recreational, community,
Okay.
Friday night poker meetings, maybe.
We're in
I don't
agreement
know.
then, yeah.
And-
Okay,
And the operation of the property, the sections that talk about that, they're taking ownership and responsibility of operating the facility, maintenance, cleaning. They plan to take care of any kind of needs and scheduling of the use of that.
I'll make
So,
a,
Pam,
You
you can,
mentioned-
you can change that up to
Yes.
cover all the bases, basically. Okay.
I can make, I think I can make a motion to do this.
Can I
Okay.
ask a question for you, too?
Sure.
Listen, I am very much in favor of what Bill is saying. Pam, I just got a question for you is, as a mud board, we're allowed to participate in parks and recreation activities. And so is that wording in there so that we can participate, or, I mean, because I like what Bill's idea.
What I added was that you have access to the property. To address what you just said, if they don't have something already scheduled, you get to schedule. And that's what it says in there. The MUD gets to schedule.
But what I think Jim is asking, correct me if I'm wrong, is we can participate in certain items. Recreational is one of them. We can't really participate in a community meeting or something like that. That doesn't fall under our, authority. But those things, as far as if they want to seek our participation,
Oh, sure. You could
monetary, they
contribute,
need-
sure.
They could bring that to us at that time and go, yeah, we can, chip in on that or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I'd rather have that brought
Yeah, I'm all in favor of letting them use that thing however they want to use it, but I just want to make sure that within our charter, that this thing is worded right.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, I move to approve the facility use agreement between the Town of Trophy Club and the Trophy Club Municipal Utility District Number 1 for the purposes of using the annex building, and that in the agreement as written, references to recreation shall be removed, and that the president is authorized to sign the document.
Is that valid, okay with you, Pam?
Yes, it is.
Then I would second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Rose, a second by Director Thomas. Everybody understanding? Any questions? Okay, show of hands. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you, Bill. See, your part. Okay, next one is consider an act to approve resolution number 2024-0522, designating depository institutions, designating authorized signatories, for the disbursements of district funds, providing for electronic transfers of district funds, and containing other matters related thereto.
Directors, what this document takes care of is removing Stephen Krolchik from this authorized depository institution and adding Regina Van Dyke, our new finance manager, to it. It also includes all three, Tex Pool, Prosperity Bank, and JP Morgan Chase.
Okay, someone want to make a motion on that?
I move to approve resolution number 2024-0522.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Rose. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second by Secretary Treasurer Harper. Any further questions? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, unanimous. Okay, moving on. Agenda number 7, consider an act to approve the purchase of 8 cranes for lift stations as part of fiscal year 2024 capital improvement projects.
Directors, as previously mentioned, we've been working on making substantial improvements to our lift stations over the past few years. This will finalize our FY24 allotted budgeted money, and what we're going to do is be installing a crane at every single site, so that way whenever staff needs to pull something, we don't have to back a truck in or call another company in to do so. It'll be all on-site, available, and easier for staff to access the lift stations for.
And that's not going to be an eyesore for anybody that lives near, right?
It will be within the fenced area.
Yeah, Director Rose?
I move to approve the purchase of 8 cranes for lift stations as part of the FY 2024 capital improvement projects from Fortiline Waterworks in an amount not to exceed $49,518.57.
Okay, I have a motion by Director Rose. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second by Secretary Treasurer Harper. Any questions?
Just, Alan said it, but I want to make sure it's even more emphasized, mainly for if anyone ever comes back and watches, the video. I wasn't here when you did the physical budget for 23-24, so I asked Alan today if this amount, plus the amount that's in the next item, if they are within this year's budget, or are they funds that are going to have to come out of supplemental funds or someplace else? If you heard what Alan said, these funds are within the budget.
The 2024.
And so, and it turns out, he'll explain in a minute, the next one is covered, he's got it covered within the budget as well.
Okay,
I just wanted, if anyone
Clarify.
watches, to realize that this is a budgeted item.
and for the people in the audience too, correct?
I have one question about
Yes.
this. Are these cranes, this equipment we're purchasing, is it protected? Is it covered or?
No, these are going to be
housed
open to
anyway?
elements, but they're all stainless steel.
Is there a maintenance program that we're setting up to
Guys, we'll oil them as necessary.
can
Lubricate
the
them,
Tin
we'll
Man-
have silicone lubricant or
Tin Man
grease.
lubricant in it? Okay.
But
Okay, we
they
have-
are stainless steel for that
We have a
purpose.
motion by Director Rose and a second by Secretary Treasurer Harper. Any further questions? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, unanimous. Moving on. Agenda 8, consider an act to approve rehabilitation of well number 1.
Directors, as we mentioned, I believe it was during last month's meeting, staff did identify that there was an issue with well number 1. We essentially had our well provider come out, pull the well out, and all the piping is all been removed. A post-video inspection was performed to identify if there was any issues inside the well casing itself. There were no holes identified, but the well casing, or the well pipe itself, not the casing pipe, but well pipe itself, roughly over 900 feet, has degraded to a point where holes are beginning to create pumping back into the well itself from our other ones. So essentially what this does is the pump was pulled, it's about 12 years old, and when it was pulled back in 2020, they made some minor improvements to it. I believe a motor was put on it, but it is, because of the age of the motor, we're recommending to go ahead and replace that motor, replace the pump, all the piping that has been degraded, which is over 900 feet's worth, and they're going to go in and do some significant cleaning and brushing to open up the pores in that as well. So as Director Thomas mentioned, the question of funding. So with our current water line project in place, we have a savings this year of what was budgeted of over $400,000. Even by utilizing and paying for this well with our current capital money, we'll still have over $300,000 in projected savings in capital money alone this year that will get pushed into next year's budget.
Good deal. Okay, motion?
I move to approve the rehabilitation of well number 1 using Millican well service for an amount not to exceed $126,434.33.
I second, Kevin.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Rose, second by Director Thomas, to use Milliken Well Service LLC, not to exceed 126,434.33. Any questions? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Future agendas. Anyone have anything for future agenda?
I do.
Okay.
The town is driving this train, but I would like for Pam to at least give us an update at the next meeting on what's happening associated with the transition of water and sewer pipes from the PID to the mud.
We have a group on that.
Yeah, we have a group doing that.
Yeah. Ben, any updates on that?
No?
Not
Nothing,
agended.
as far as I know, there's no meeting scheduled.
Okay, Al?
If I understand it, Ben, Dean is driving that train, the town's attorney. So my request is just to have Pam kind of nudge him a little bit and give us an update on if anything's going on.
Well, I don't think we should have Pam do it. I mean, Alan has a good communication
Yeah.
with Brandon.
We'll do
Use
that.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Is
So
that,
that's fine. I'd just like to have an update.
yeah, if Pam needs to come in the picture, then Alan can request that, but
Right.
I think Pam, is that okay? Yeah. Okay.
I would ask, Mr. Chairman, I would ask Alan, have you heard anything about scheduling the next subcommittee meeting on that?
No, the last communications we had, the town is still investigating their options, and we are awaiting their response. I have not heard anything on those specific transfer of assets yet.
I'm like, what's already been said is, I mean, this thing needs to get, moving forward, not sit there and it's stagnant and stuff. It's a good idea. It's a no-brainer to me. but,
Especially if it has to go to the November election.
Yeah,
This is not time to
exactly.
be stagnant.
We're kind of getting past the November election, is that right, Lori? As far as being able to put
It's
something,
like August,
yeah, it's coming up fast.
should be like August, the second week of August would be our deadline, I think, right, Pam, to get a bond or to get anything on there for property?
Yes.
And the second thing I wanted to request goes along that. Alan had sent out a map of Trophy Club, which I found quite interesting in that it annotates all the little spots throughout the community that are not annexed into the mud. Most of them are, I think, well sites that are under development. But as part of that discussion, what I'd like for Alan to do is brief us all on what might be involved in getting rid of all those little spots and getting them all within the mud.
Correct, and that's part of what the town's council is vetting out right now, what the options are.
I'm just saying that the update, I'd like for it to cover that as well.
And I may not have those answers because it depends on legal review and what they can provide. But we'll reach out to the town and we'll find out what we can get before the next board meeting.
But you know, something interesting, Alan, just the fact that they hear that we're interested might be some encouragement to them to move along.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? You have anything? Ben, do you have any future agenda item?
I don't.
You have anything else, Bill? Okay, I'd just like to get an update on that fire, you know, where we're at, rather than keep going on until we get
As
started.
soon as I receive some information, I will send it
Tell
out to
them
you.
that I wanted to know. Instead of touching. Yeah, Hutton.
I'm sure that they're aware, sir.
Yep, Hutton is my name. Yeah. Okay. Set budget, set next regular meeting is agenda item number 10, June 19th, 2024. Anyone have any issues with that day?
That's a Wednesday.
Which one is it?
June 19th, 2024?
Thought we needed to move it for some reason. We talked about it last time.
I am driving back from a family vacation on that day.
Then we were looking at,
We'll let you zoom in from the hotel.
Well, for my car.
Oh, you won't be driving at
It's just a
6:30 at
12-hour
night.
drive.
Okay, so do we want to move it, or?
That date will be posted on our CCR in a few weeks, that there will be public comment allowed. So we need to have that in stone, like, we're not going to be able to change it once we set it.
You want to go to the next week, or?
Go ahead and do that, Kevin. I mean, if I can't make it,
Well,
don't.
if it's a budget deal, I'd rather you have it here than not. But,
Well, we're talking about the regular date. We can schedule the budget meeting at a different date if you
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
okay, so June 19th? Everybody good with that?
I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Next meeting will be June 19th. You're good with that, Ben? Get me back from
Yes.
Colorado by then? Are you still playing
I'll
golf?
try.
Maybe on
try.
to overseas, play some golf, or? Okay, next is number 11, set budget workshop date. What are we doing on that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, since Director Thomas is not going to be available on the 19th,
I would like to do a different day too for the
yeah,
budget.
a different day, and that's fine. And we can also have it during the day itself. That way we can be a little bit more informal and have a big screen up and go over this new platform that we're looking at reviewing with you all. So
Is everybody on the board now retired?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I've worked since October, but
Your humor's improved
how's your
remarkably.
schedule?
as far as, tell me a date and I'll be able to
Yeah, did she
respond.
need to be there?
No, this is a budget
Never
workshop.
mind.
She doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily
I
need
didn't
to be
think
there.
so. Okay, so whatever, it doesn't matter, just let us know.
And
And then
Alan,
Regina can bring sandwiches and stuff, you know.
I'm back on the,
I'll remember that next time.
Alan, I'm back on the 20th and 21st. 22nd, I leave for Peru, but that's Saturday. But I'm back Thursday and Friday.
Look at this guy
You're
dropping.
creating a problem.
Any other cities you want to name drop on? Like, you went to Egypt and everything, and so, okay. So what day is good for Jim Thomas, the world traveler?
Thursday would work for me.
Okay, so Thursday? Is that-
Thursday, what time? Mid-afternoon?
Yeah.
3 o'clock?
Are we talking the 20th,
20th?
the day after the meeting?
Budget workshop, June 20th
do it
at 3
earlier, or-
o'clock.
Yeah.
How long will it take you to get sandwiches, Regina? Like,
If you want sandwiches, we can slide it
You
up.
can order them in.
Yeah, if you're going to if you want supper, we need to do it
Hutchins
during
will deliver.
supper.
I'm just joking.
June 20th, okay, pick it
June
down.
20th at 3 o'clock.
1500, got it.
You okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll have a budget workshop on June 20th at 1500 hours for the military people, 3 PM for non-military. Okay, we're at the adjournment. It is 7:09, I'm going to call it, and we are going to adjourn.
Well done.